So, Halloween Kills is the latest film from David Gordon Green. It's the second in this new Halloween trilogy. And once again, it stars Jamie Lee Curtis, Judy Greer. And this time around, after Laurie Strode and her daughter and her granddaughter all escape Michael Myers, they leave him trapped in that house, if you remember from the first movie. Michael Myers, of course, escapes. He survives. And he's on another killing spree. And basically everyone, not just Laurie Strode and her family, but everyone is going after him this time, and hopefully they bring his reign of terror to an end. So, Halloween Kills, I knew was coming. I just wasn't really that interested in it. As far as like Halloween movies go, I've only seen the original one and the 2018 one, mainly because they said, oh, we're not even going to bother with the lore from Halloween 2 on, where it's like, oh, okay, no point watching the other movies then. Why not? So, and the trailers weren't that scary, they weren't that interesting, and it's like, okay, so I wasn't really a big fan of the last Halloween movie. I thought it was just fine. Like, there were some things I thought were really good, mainly Jamie Lee Curtis, but there were just some things where it's like, okay, like the whole podcast thing that just didn't work. So, and I wasn't really looking forward to this movie, and you can't... There's a lot that I really want to say about this movie, and there's a lot that I want to say in a spoiler review, so I'm going to try to do that. I'm going to try to do a No Time to Die spoiler too, but right now let's just talk about this spoiler-free. This movie's a mixed bag overall. Like, there's some things that really work, and they don't work at the same time. It's weird. So, anyway, let's start with the good, whatever good is in this thing. Some of the performances are actually fine. Like, Judy Greer, I thought she was really good in this movie. Like, in the first movie, it was like, okay, so she doesn't really take her mom's PTSD seriously, and kind of like, you kind of see how, like, now, how serious it is, and, like, how she adapts to it. I thought that was good. Anthony Michael Hall, I thought he was pretty good in this movie. Most of the people, I thought, were actually really well acted. Not the smartest. We'll talk about that in a spoiler review. But it was kind of nice to see, like, not nice, but, like, kind of interesting to see, like, all these other people in this movie, like, you know, all these townspeople who are going after Michael Myers, and, like, people who are just kind of crossing paths with him. It was interesting to see. Also, they kind of, like, blend a lot of, like, they kind of, like, add new scenes that kind of make it seem like, oh, they were from the original Halloween movies, but clearly they weren't. But I thought those scenes were actually really well done. Also, there's a lot of really creative kills in this movie, where it's like, oh god, Michael Myers, what are you going to do now? And it's like, oh, I did not expect that. Like, you kind of saw a bit of it in the trailer, like with those firefighters, but it's like, how much more can you get? Like, oh, okay, that's how he goes this time. And again, I'll talk about those in the negatives. Also, I kind of like the direction this movie went to with mob mentality, and like how, you know, how Michael Myers actually affected the whole entire town, not just Laurie Strode. That was really interesting to see as well, how that played out. Also, the score by the original Halloween director, John Carpenter, it was really good. It felt much more like the score from the original Halloween movie. I thought that was really good. And this movie is weird because when the movie works, it really works. When this movie doesn't work, it really doesn't work. And let's talk about what I really didn't like about this movie. First off, Jamie Lee Curtis. Oh man, why would you sideline Jamie Lee Curtis in her own franchise? Literally, her entire role is basically her in a hospital bed. I mean, yeah, I get it, because in the last movie she was really hurt and everything. But you kind of see in the trailer, it's like, oh, I'm coming after you, Michael. That never happens. That's not even a spoiler. That doesn't even happen. I'm just saying that right now. Also, Andi Matichak, I believe that's how you pronounce her name. Probably not. Oh well. I thought she was okay in the first Halloween movie. I didn't really like her in this movie. I felt like her character wasn't really given much to do. I thought she was kind of an idiot, but then again, pretty much everyone in this movie is an idiot. So that was really annoying as well. And even though, like, a lot of the kills are very creative at times, almost all of them, I would say, they're just too over the top. I mean, wow. It's like, okay, they're dead, and no, they just want to, he just wants to continue. Michael Myers just wants to continue. I'm not going to spoil anything, but it's like, once they're dead, it's like, he has to do all these other things, and like, at first it's like, oh god, that's really creepy, and that's really disturbing. But sometimes it just comes across as hilarious. Like, I won't spoil anything, but there were moments where I honestly wanted to laugh because it was just so ridiculous and just so. Again, I can't really talk about this movie without spoiling it. So, yeah. Oh my god. And also, even though I do like the whole mob mentality angle and, like, you know, how it kind of does affect the rest of the town in this movie, pretty much the entire movie just spills the entire message, like, right away. It just, like, it's not even obvious anymore. Like, you just had to say it out loud because we don't know what's going on. We clearly know what's going on. Most people will understand this message. You don't have to spoon feed us. You don't have to say it so many times. We get it. It's like, remember how, like, in Get Out, pretty much everything was at least subtle? Horror movies just don't understand, like, if when they do have, like, some sort of commentary, you need to be subtle. And a lot of movies just aren't, and Halloween Kills is just another not subtle horror movie where I was kind of groaning when they actually talked about the message. There's a lot of really interesting surprises. I forgot that in the pros. Whereas, like, there's some people in this movie who's like, wait, you're in this movie? I never expected that. And, like, that was also really surprising to see, kind of, like, seeing them in this movie and, like, what they do in this movie. I thought that was really cool. And let's get back into the cons, because the ending, I don't know how to feel about the ending, to be honest. And again, spoiler review. Yeah, of course, because there's one more Halloween movie. There's a cliffhanger. And I just felt like this ending just didn't work for me. It wasn't scary. There was no point to it, really. And it just, I don't know. I really just didn't like this ending. And again, I feel like I'm holding a lot back because I want to talk about spoilers. So I'm going to try to do that in a couple days. So Halloween Kills, you know, from what I noticed, people who love who love the last Halloween movie, they don't like this movie. And people who didn't like the first Halloween movie, they like this movie. And honestly, for me, who was, like, kind of mixed about the first Halloween movie, I'm just kind of mixed about this movie too, because again, when it works, it works. When it doesn't work, it really doesn't work. Oh my god. So right now, I'll give Halloween Kills 2 out of 4 stars. Stream it. There's some good performances, interesting angles, some creative kills, but the message is too obvious. And also, you don't sideline Jamie Lee Curtis. You just don't. So, what'd you think of Halloween Kills? Also, what's your favorite Halloween movie? Comment down below, subscribe to the channel. This is Pat, and stay safe.